yeah, I just watched it this morning, and just it was very funny. I mean, the characters you play are very complicated, not exactly likable, but you still sympathize with them, and they're still very interesting. You're still interested in what they go through and where they end up. And basically, I was just curious, how did you go about the chemistry between you two is great. Did you work on that a lot before the film began?
No, we didn't know each other before the movie at all, and we met briefly.
We had a blind date, sort of. The directors set us up on a blind date.
Nice.
We had Chinese food, and it was sort of like stiff and a little bit, because, you know, you didn't want the nightmare of hating your co-star.
It was like 18 full days together, like 12 to 14 hours a day, so it could have been really bad.
Yeah, I think we were both anxious about just not getting along, and then, you know, we totally did off the bat. So I think it really helped that we didn't know each other too, because we kind of just fell into the chemistry of the characters right away. Not like off screen, it was like Clare, but it just made it easier to just, like, you know, surrender to the characters as opposed to, I don't know, being friends.
That's a little harsh.
Yeah, being friends and being like, no, that's not right.
I had a good friend from college. I was going to tell you this. I had a good friend from college who watched the movie, and she was like, I almost couldn't watch it because I've seen you be angry before, and she's like, and like some of that I felt you were saying to me, and I was like, oh, I get that.
Like you told me about this person.
Yeah, that we have had like that. You know, we would fight. She's one of the only people that I have fought with like that before, and she was like, I could feel that, and I so like if we had known each other, it might have been harder to fight with each other like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because the movie really gets at the truth of, you know, what millennials or, you know, what 25-year-old post-college graduates go through. And, you know, it does get uncomfortable, but at the same time, it's very funny. It's almost like the funniest kind of, the humor is like a relief from the tension between the relationship between you two. Yeah. I mean, were you ever afraid that the characters might seem too unlikable, or were you just really interested in the complex natures of the characters?
Yeah, no, it didn't really enter our thought process, because they're so real and sort of, you know,
faceted.
Yeah, there's so much anxiety in them, just rooted in them, that I think, you know, that I certainly connected to. I was 23 when we did this, and, you know, now I'm 25, and I feel like the plates are shifting a little bit for me emotionally, and I feel a little bit less anxious than I did, you know, certainly when we were filming this. So yeah, I think it was more just, I don't know, we identified with them and sympathized.
Yeah, I mean, they are sympathetic characters, really, because, you know, even if you look at them and go, don't leave the bike there, or don't leave the kittens there, you still, you know, it reflects on a time in our lives where we weren't quite sure where we were going. We thought we knew, but it comes out something different. I was telling the directors, this movie is more about the journey than it is about the final destination.
Right.
How did you feel about that?
I think that's an interesting question. I agree. I think that it's more about the journey than about the destination. But I also think it's about like the dissolution of like monuments, sort of, you know, like Fort Tilden is Fort Tilden,
right,
but it's not.
No.
And that happens with a lot of things in this movie, and I think that that's something that happens to you a lot in your early 20s, or like when you're, you know, when you're looking at what your life could be like and imagining what it could be like and hoping it's going to be that way, and then getting there and experiencing it.
Right.
And feeling how it's not what you thought it was going to be. I don't know.
But yeah, and it's sort of like, where do you go from there? Which is interesting. And what was it like shooting in New York? So a lot of New York in this movie looks beautiful, especially Brooklyn.
Yeah, it does.
It was awesome. I mean, it was so fun.
The weather was actually amazing when we were shooting.
Oh yeah.
Which is weird because it was like I guess it wasn't the heat of the summer. It was towards the end of the summer.
Yeah, it was the end of the summer. I think like the final 3 days were like the coldest. It was like suddenly it was changing to fall. Yeah, and we had a lot of scenes where we were like, oh, it's so hot. Meanwhile, we were like a little bit chilly the whole time. But yeah, it was awesome. I'd never been to, we went through like these Hasidic neighborhoods in Brooklyn and, Flatbush and just good and bad neighborhoods. It was colorful. It was cool.
Yeah. You wouldn't a lot of it was places in Brooklyn that you wouldn't have a reason to go to if you don't live there, which is, true of any neighborhood anywhere, but somehow in Brooklyn it feels like more an event of an event because like the demographics change, the landscape changes drastically. So it feels like you're in a new city.
I also didn't I hadn't ridden a bike since I was a kid. And I didn't really trust myself on a bike, and especially in Brooklyn, and we did it.
We did it.
You did it, yeah.
Bruised,
we fucking did.
Yeah.
I know. I haven't ridden a bike in years either, and it's just getting on one again and riding around in a city, be it LA or New York, can be kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
I was scared. I was legitimately afraid of looking so stupid on a bike. I thought I was gonna look like such an asshole, and it was so much easier than it's like riding a bike.
Exactly. Yeah. I was just because it's been years since I've been on a bike, and I just don't trust riding a bike in the city anymore.
Yeah. No.
It's dangerous.
It is dangerous.
People get hurt.
They do get hurt.
I don't have the biker butt that you see.
Yeah, you gotta have
around town.
Yeah, you do need that.
You need the butt, so that I feel like that's central.
Yeah, it's important to have the butt.
Yeah, I don't have the butt either, so I know how you feel. And you had 18 days to shoot this movie. Did the speed of that help you with your performances or at all?
I think so.
Yeah. Like we were saying, the stuff at the beach and the stuff prior our fight, there was kind of agitation in the air because we were, stealing shots. We were fighting against the light, and so there was this sort of, uncomfortableness to the entire shoot of, we didn't have any bathrooms. We had to be hey, I have to go to the bathroom, and it's okay, someone will take you in 20 minutes to this bodega
where it's full of the only animals
someone
that use it are someone shit on the walls.
Yeah,
and there's cats.
And there's kittens.
cats in there.
And there's kittens.
Yeah.
So there was, this natural sort of kind of weariness to everything that helped us, I think.
It was almost like everything that was an inconvenience in the movie
Was
helped the movie.
Yeah. That's method acting for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're method.
Yeah. And of course you do get to go into the ocean at one point in this movie. Was it
we get to?
Well, you were forced to?
No. Sorry,
It was very cold.
It was very
Was
cold.
it very cold? I was
yeah.
wondering about
It
that.
was so cold. It was screwed up cold.
Yeah.
I almost died.
Seems to be the case with any ocean. There was another movie I did an interview on recently, and it was they went to Long Beach and went in the ocean there, and it was freezing. But
Yeah.
for a moment, it looked like you two had it a little bit easier than that cast.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Really good
well,
actors.
there was also a part where I was drifting away.
I know. I came out.
Because my body was so numb, and Claire
She
had
was
to swim
looking
out, and I
not
was
at the
looking,
shore. She
Yeah,
was
not
looking...
at the camera. So I was just being pulled into the ocean.
And I came out, and I was I was swimming really hard, and they were shooting from the beach, and I was like, Bridey, we have to go back. And she was like, we have to do the scene.
Yeah, I was
She's
she's
do
not
the
calling
scene.
me by. She's not calling me by Harper.
I was like, you're too far.
Yeah, your character does get kind of far out there for a minute. It's
Yeah.
she disappears for a second. It's kind of scary, but
Yeah.
yeah. And there's a moment where your character, drops underwater, just lets her head drop underwater.
Yeah.
I was kind of expecting a sort of a Graduate moment, like when Dustin Hoffman goes below in the swimming pool.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love that.
But yeah,
Oh,
it's a nice touch. Was that a plan, or is it just something that just happened?
You mean, was it scripted?
Yeah, it was. Oh, cool. It was great. And I mean, how much do you relate to the characters in this film?
A lot.
A lot, yeah.
Yeah, totally. I think we were talking about Williamsburg as a place of kind of artists, and whoever calls themselves an artist, you know, is an artist or tries to project that anyway, and it's all about kind of projecting. I think too with our generation, this is what's specific about it, and what this movie touches on is, you know, how we're constantly in the public eye because of social media, that we're constantly projecting something, which I think
whether
is
it's backed up by anything or not.
right. Which I think is the pressure that these girls have. You know, what am I gonna do, and who am I? And so I totally relate to that. You know, or it's like when you meet someone and you're like, you have your shit together, and they're
Yeah.
like,
Right.
no, I don't.
I don't. I'm just really good at making it look like I do.
Yeah.
Which is one of the things which is why Allie is just constantly, she's like, I'm gonna try on this hat. What does this look like on me? You know,
Right.
it's like trying on an outfit. Does this outfit look good? Well, it feels terrible. And then she takes it off. And it's like,
Right. No, it's interesting because those issues, after a while, they're not really gender specific. I mean, they apply to everybody who gets
Right.
into that kind of mindset of,
Yeah.
you know, where do I go from here?
yeah.
And it's something that's going on from one film to the next over generations. So, but what do you hope people get out of this movie the most?
I hope that people, take it as an opportunity to like really think about how they interact with the world, and not just the world that they have created for themselves, but the world that people live in.
Yeah.
I hope people, you know, laugh, and I think, you know, people are saying like, well, I really, really cringed, and then you know, I think people laugh more than they cringe, or they do it equal, and it, you know, cancels each other out.
Yeah,
Right.
have fun.
Yeah.
I laughed more than I cringed at this movie. So yeah.
Oh, good.
So yeah. So I think that'll go with the rest of the audience for this movie as well. Great.
Sweet.
Thank you very much for your
Thank
time.
you.
Thank you. I like your handwriting.
Oh, thank you.